Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda just detonated the timeline with one unexpected love photo. The secrecy is over. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Turkish series stars. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and support the channel, friends. There are romances you hear about and think, oh, interesting. And then there are the ones that sweep through the internet like a storm the minute a hint appears. This one belongs to the latter. The whispers about Gökberk and Cemre were already loud, but the official confirmation turned chatter into a shouting match. It wasn't only a romantic rumor, it carried the weight of friendships, previous loves, old set stories, and every complicated thread that comes with being famous in the age of social media. For months, the entertainment pages rolled out headlines suggesting a quiet closeness, a subtle warmth, and a love hiding just out of frame. Then, finally, the proof arrived. A single, carefully chosen image that everyone had been waiting for. And the move came directly from Cemre Arda's Instagram. No press release, no cryptic caption, just one understated shot that said everything without needing a paragraph. It soared past 100,000 likes almost instantly. Fans were shocked, commentators were stunned, and even people once linked to Gökberk paused in surprise. It wasn't just a selfie. It was a declaration. The message was clear. We're done playing hide and seek. So how did it begin? Why the quiet, why the timing, and what's the real story behind that serene photo? To understand it, you have to revisit Gökberk Yildirim's eventful history in the spotlight. His love life has always been a magnet for attention. His intense chapter with Hande Erçel dominated conversations for a long time, and even the breakup kept echoing for months. After that ended, he stepped back, focused on scripts and sets, and layered himself behind work. Then came Melissa Tupun. Short-lived, yes, but striking. Many around them thought they were well matched, so their sudden split became the talk of every chat group. In its aftermath, those close to Gökberk said he sealed his private life more tightly than ever. And then, just when it seemed he had built a quiet wall around his heart, the murmurs began about Cemre. Cemre Arda, of course, isn't just anyone. She's a digital force, admired for her style, poise, and grounded confidence. Her YouTube videos, her polished Instagram, and that unforced elegance have built a community around her. She's soft-spoken and composed, yet undeniably present, a person who can walk into a room and draw the eye without saying a word. She brushed elbows with the celebrity world from time to time, but nobody expected her name to be paired with his. That's why the reveal split social media in two. One side cheered, convinced they were a perfect energy match, bright, upbeat, and balanced. The other side squinted at the backstory and asked uncomfortable questions about friendship lines and unwritten rules, and that's where the conversation turned toward Mehtap Algül. Here lies the detail that raised the temperature. Cemre Arda and Mehtap Algül weren't strangers in the same industry. They had known each other for years, interacted on and off, and even posed together at more than one event. Naturally, when Gökberk and Cemre were linked, everyone waited for Mehtap's reaction. She finally spoke and said, "There are no problems between us, Cemre." Calm, composed, precise. But magazine veterans quickly dubbed it diplomacy with a smile. Because sometimes in this world, you say the gentle thing to keep the waters calm. Was there a quiet disappointment hiding behind the scenes, or was it exactly as she said? The truth is still hanging in the air. What's certain is that the question itself made the romance more captivating. Then came the move nobody could ignore. Cemre posted the first couple photo. The pose wasn't flashy. No glitter, no grand gesture. Just intimate, warm, and almost weightless in its simplicity. But that simplicity was a spark on dry grass. The moment it went up, comments poured in from every direction. Some people stared at the photo and immediately felt the harmony, two people looking like they'd chosen peace over noise. Others read more into it, claiming that one image had said what months of speculation couldn't. The timeline split and surged all at once. Reactions arrived in waves. A huge group chimed in with praise. They loved the way Gökberk looked easy in his skin, his smile relaxed, his shoulders unburdened. "Your energy's fit," they wrote, again and again, almost making it a chorus. This was bound to happen, and it finally did, some insisted. "He seems genuinely happy, and Cemre suits him," others offered, pointing at the slightest crinkle near his eyes as proof. Fans also highlighted the naturalness of the image. No studio lights, no theatrical angles, just two people who appeared comfortable stepping into the frame together. It felt like a window opened after a long, breathless wait. Of course, not everyone sat in the cheering section. As in every celebrity story, there were questions, and not all of them were gentle. A noticeable crowd pulled the conversation back to Mehtap Algol. They insisted there was an ethical puzzle here, beautiful couple or not. The connection to a close friend placed the whole story in a gray zone that's both private and public. Comments like "I'm happy for them, but the friendship situation is messy" and "Mehtap's tone was too diplomatic" echoed across Twitter and X. It wasn't anger so much as a steady hum of confusion, a need for clarity that might never arrive. Another sizable voice across the platforms held a different view entirely. At last, Gökberk found real calm. People who've watched his career from the beginning, observed the peaks and heartbreaks, and understood the pressure that comes with a face recognized everywhere, saw the pairing as a gentle remedy. A relationship that heals rather than exhausts. They wrote about time spent in transit, relentless filming days, and the loneliness that fame sometimes hides. They suggested this connection felt like a pause button he had needed for a long time. "He looks rested in her presence," one fan argued. "His eyes are saying it before any caption could." "This could be the turning point for him," another predicted, as if speaking a wish out loud. Meanwhile, a fierce, protective team gathered around Cemre. Being a powerful woman online can make you a target, and there were those who criticized her simply for being visible. But a steadfast chorus answered back. Why is a woman expected to shrink herself because she's in love with someone adored by millions? Why should popularity cancel her right to private happiness? Cemre minds her own path, fans wrote. She doesn't stir drama. If Gökberk is smiling, what's the complaint? The defense wasn't combative, it was firm, confident, and resolved to keep the conversation fair. And because Turkish social media loves a laugh in the middle of a storm, the jokes arrived on cue. People teased that Gökberk had finally crossed into the influencer universe like a traveler discovering a new city. They called the whole saga a limited series with a twist by Mehtap Algol. They even joked that brands were surely whispering, "Should we plan matching looks yet?" Humor didn't erase the tension, but it softened the edges and kept the dialogue lively, as it always does. Let's rewind to how it began. Despite looking like a sudden leap, sources close to both say it was slow and steady. Their first encounter, at a birthday party crowded with mutual friends, was a short exchange wrapped in an unexpected warmth. Nothing dramatic. Just a conversation that lingered in the mind. Months passed. They met again at an event, and the second meeting felt like a chord struck twice, clearer the next time. They stayed in touch as friends. Messages here and there. Occasional overlapping circles. And gradually, as schedules allowed, they stepped out of the group setting and into a space they could call their own. The friendship deepened, and the boundary finally shifted towards something more intimate. Why the silence? Those in the know suggest that the breakup with Melissa Tupun was still close enough in the rearview mirror to matter. The last thing Gökberk wanted was to drag Cemre into a storm she didn't ask for. And there was the Mehtap Algol dimension. Delicate, intricate, and easily misread from the outside. Better to protect everything until they both felt ready. So they chose a quieter rhythm, a private season where they could test what they felt without the noise. No secret rendezvous designed to taunt the public, just two people deciding not to feed the machine until they had to. When the moment finally came, they let a single frame speak for them. Not a ring, not a reveal party, not a teasing campaign. A low-voiced announcement disguised as a simple photo. Sometimes restraint is louder than spectacle, and that's exactly what happened here. The internet did the rest. Now, the question is where it goes from here. The hope among fans is that the tenderness glimpsed in that image expands into something steady, even if the spotlight makes steadiness hard. Those rooting for them imagine late-night talks, coffee after long days on set, and hands held during flights when nobody else is watching. Skeptics will keep asking complicated questions, especially about friendships and timelines. That's the cost of living out loud when fame is a constant companion. Still, some things look undeniable. There's a softness that seems to settle around Gökberk when he's beside her, and a composure that frames Cemre when she's with him. The two energies merge in a way that defies the need for over-explaining. That's why the photo landed the way it did. It offered a glimpse of balance at a moment when balance is rare. It suggested that after all the high-volume years, this might be a quieter chapter worth protecting. One post can't tell the whole story, but it can mark a turning point. If the past months were about staying still and listening to what their hearts wanted away from the crowd, then this week was about telling the crowd, gently, that the chapter has begun. The irony, of course, is that the quieter the reveal, the louder the reaction. That's the paradox of this world, and they know it well. What remains to be seen is how they handle the crosswinds. Will they keep the window slightly open and share as they go, or close the curtains and let the work speak while the love grows off camera? Either way, the story has momentum now. The timeline is watching, reading into expressions, decoding captions, measuring arm's length and eye contact. That's how it goes when two names become one topic. As for Metap Algal, her measured line still hovers over the conversation. Maybe it's truly as simple as she said. Maybe time will add nuance. Friendships can bend without breaking, and sometimes the world outside imagines fractures that don't exist. Or perhaps there are feelings that will only surface later, in a private message, a conversation we'll never hear about, and nor should we. Not every truth belongs to the public square. Meanwhile, the industry keeps moving. Projects are announced, scripts arrive, meetings are booked. Amid all that noise, they'll have to find the moments that belong only to them. That's the challenge, and maybe the beauty, of their situation. Fame asks for everything. Love asks for patience. The balance is the story. Thank you for watching. If you want to stay updated on everything about Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, don't forget to subscribe to Turkish series stars, turn on notifications, and like the video. Tell me what you felt when you saw that first photo. Did it surprise you, or did it feel inevitable? Drop your thoughts so we can dive into it together. See you in the next video. Goodbye.